Really got quiet, huh? The clap method.
Yeah, we need a follow-up.
Yeah, what do you do after the clap method?
Are we supposed to?
Don't be shy.
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
Come in.
Actually, these chairs are double stacked. Commitment. Well, welcome in everyone, and welcome to the first Presidio Bitcoin Hackathon. What an event this is going to be. I think we had some people flying from all sorts of places. I heard Seattle, right? Austin. I think there's South Korea. We're so incredibly excited to see what you guys build over the next, I guess, day and a half. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Thank you to our sponsors, Human Rights Foundation, Lightspark, Block, ViewSats, HiveMind, partners LB and Lexi as well for making this all happen, and our incredible volunteers. And a huge, huge thank you to our incredible volunteers that are all members at Presidio Bitcoin. This is all sort of community-driven event. I was sort of willed into possibility, and then obviously supported by our fantastic sponsors. So thank you to everyone that's helped make this all happen. Special shout out to Austin, Dee, Steve, Max, DK, Leo and Damien, everyone for making this be an awesome event. So I have the really fun job of running through some of the less fun stuff, which is basically some rules of the road, if you will. We are a tenant in this building, so we don't really call the shots with the exterior doors. So anytime you leave the exterior doors, they will lock. It's not something we can handle. Please don't like wedge them. Just use the Discord. Hey, I'm going out for a walk. Can someone let me in? You know, be kind to everybody. If you see someone in the chat, just go downstairs and let them back in. We are in a beautiful facility here, obviously, in the Presidio. We encourage you to step outside, take a walk. It's absolutely fantastic. But just know, please respect the building's rules. Also, you notice that the staircases are open. We don't expect anyone to be here, but we are not the only tenant, so just mind your volume in the hallways and try to keep it kind of in the room here. We have internet. The password is freedom money. It's written on the whiteboard back here and back there. But the desks are actually hardwired to like 800 megabytes per second. It's incredibly fast. So if you use the USB-C in the desks, you just turn off your Wi-Fi and you'll hit the Ethernet, and then it'll save the bandwidth for the people that are obviously on Wi-Fi. The bathroom codes, there's a men's room out this side, there's a women's room out that side. They are written on a little card right above the door. If you also go one floor down, there's another set of men's and women's, just again, in the hallways, mind your volume, and then come back in here, obviously. We stock the fridge to the gills. So that is all for you guys. There's Red Bulls, there's Celsiuses, there's LaCroix. We put out a ton of snacks, bananas, oranges, you name it. Please just stick to that, what's in the fridge, and then the snacks that are out on the counters, the other stuff that are in the drawers, please don't rummage through that. And again, we're all volunteers here, so please stay tidy. Please clean up after yourself. Otherwise, one of us is going to have to do it. We've all put in a ton of effort just making this happen, so please just help us out by staying tidy. All right, that's all the non-fun stuff. Now I'm going to hand the mic over to Austin to get you into the fun stuff.
Thank you, sir. If you have read the emails that I've sent, which I'm assuming maybe is like 10% of you, this might be something you're familiar with. But if you haven't, I'm going to go over it now. This is the schedule for the hackathon this weekend. Day one, obviously right now, we're going to go into opening remarks. We're going to have like a brief sort of panel discussion, then go into some talks from our sponsors. So those are specifically going to be some tech talks. So up here, 5 to 7 minutes, everyone should be here, watch all of these things. It's a good time to get inspired, see what's possible, see what you might want to hack on this weekend. After that, we're going to move into partner workshops. Those are optional. They're going to take place here and over there. Well, optional to the hackers, the partners. You don't have a choice. You have to give them. And then we're going to go into team formation. So for that, if you don't have a team, this is going to be a good time to find other people and form a team. And then after that, there's this little moon icon, which might look like cheese or something. But we're going to move into hacking Bitcoin games. We have our own sort of Bitcoin and AI faucet. What that just means, like, if you need some API keys, we'll give them to you. If you need Bitcoin, we'll give you a certain amount of Bitcoin. You can't ask for it all. Day 2. So day 2 is going to start with Boychik bagels and coffee, move into pizza, and then sandwiches. So day 2 is mostly focused on eating. There will be some hacking, but it's mostly eating. 5 p.m. is when we're going to call it, and we're going to start a project fair, which means that everyone's going to be able to present to the judges. They're going to come around, and they're going to see, what have you been working on? This is your chance to tell them. It's going to be short, because from here, they're going to down select, and they're going to figure out what are the top 5 presentations. And then you're going to do a live presentation here, longer form, in front of everyone here, and also live streamed. According to our estimates, we're expecting like 500,000 people. So no pressure. And then we're going to move into the award ceremony and then play closing time. The award ceremony and then play closing time and finish it off. So what are you competing for? What is the prize that everyone is interested in? Honor. That's all it is. There's no money. It's just honor. There is some money. There's first place, second place, third place. That's kind of self-explanatory. The judges have criteria. They're just going to figure out who ranks the highest across these things. And 5,000, 3,000, 2,000. We also have some other fun categories. Best beginner is going to be 1,000. Best beginner, when you form teams, we're going to figure out which teams are essentially like beginner teams, like who's new to Bitcoin in a sense or new to hacking. And then you'll be in your own category. I don't know if anyone here kind of falls into best beginner, so we might shift this. Some people, yes. If there's only one beginner, we still might shift it. And then most sci-fi, this is kind of a vibe judged thing. The judges are going to figure out like which is most sci-fi. I can't necessarily tell you the criteria for that. And then crowd favorite. So that goes back to the live stream presentation. So what we're going to do is have people vote through Lightning, which is going to be really cool. You're going to learn a little bit more about that now shortly as a teaser, and then a lot more about that tomorrow. So with that, let's move into our opening panel. I'm going to invite Steve, Max, and DK. They're going to tell you a little bit more about why Bitcoin. Why are we here? Why are we talking about Bitcoin? And then Max will have some remarks as well.
Hello. Yep. Yeah, turn it on.
Hey, hey.
Check, check, check.
All right.
Let's go.
We're great.
Yeah.
All right. We're ready.
Yeah, welcome.
Second time in one day,
Thanks,
boys.
Austin. Yeah, usually, if for those of you, has anybody here seen the live stream podcast thing we do? Okay. Usually, oh, thank you. Yeah. Woo! Alex produces.
Right now, so
Oh.
Are we actually?
Oh, we
Okay.
are.
Too.
Oh, all right. Let's
Damn.
get
Watch
buttoned
out,
up
it's
then.
getting very
Pressure's
serious.
on,
Okay.
yeah.
So we thought we'd sort of start this one off with just a little bit of like our own thoughts on why Bitcoin, because there's people here who are from kind of the Bitcoin world, but then there's also people here who are from like just crypto in general, and why do we care about Bitcoin versus some of the other stuff like that? So,
Or just folks, there's people in the crowd that are just into tech or software
just into
and not
tech.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, I'm curious if you guys had to self-identify in the categories of deep in Bitcoin, coming from crypto, or just in tech. Who here would say they're pretty deep in Bitcoin? Oh, okay, pretty dominant. Who here is coming over from crypto? Okay,
we welcome
It's okay.
you with open arms. They don't want to get punched in the face.
We'll still be friendly, I promise. And who here would identify as more like just deep tech or okay? Sweet. Yeah, there.
All
Right.
right,
there we
Shout
go.
out. Let's
Good.
go.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I'll start. I'll start with why Bitcoin. Why now? I sort of want to focus on like why is now the moment. Bitcoin's been around 16 or 17 years. It's always been like magical internet money around the world, right? Most people in the world have heard of Bitcoin. Most people in the world, I think, don't really understand what it is, other than like it's magical internet money. In Silicon Valley, like the 2013, 2014 era was a big wave of excitement of Bitcoin payments. And there were a lot of VC investments and apps built for Bitcoin payments. Well, guess what? They didn't go anywhere. It wasn't ready yet. The past 10 years, what's happened? Number one, the protocol's improved tremendously. The infrastructure's improved tremendously. The software development tools have improved tremendously. And so that's one thing that's happened. Number two, we've gone from probably like 1 million people owning Bitcoin globally to 1 billion people, or I don't know an exact figure, but it's that substantial of increase over the last 10 years. And then the third is that I think we see trends in technology trends such as AI introducing new use cases for Bitcoin, where you need a global, borderless, permissionless money between AI agents and AI payments. So I think with all three of those combined, the world today is very different than 10 years ago. And just from so I lead Spiral at Block. We build development tools. Our first users of our development tools 4 years ago, it would require multiple talented developers over a year to build a product. In the past couple of months, I've observed people, a couple of whom are in this room, who are PMs and either don't know how to code or haven't coded forever, and they're able to build compelling applications in a day that include Bitcoin payments. So I'm excited what all of you can build over the next day with Bitcoin payments, and we have several technology providers that you're going to hear from the rest of the night who have built these tools that are tremendously better than 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah, I would say from my perspective, I was just chatting recently with a couple of folks that went to Berkeley. Shout out Anjali as well. And we went to the Blockchain at Berkeley meetup, and it was really surprising to me. I joked with Steve and DK that the biggest takeaway was we couldn't do any worse, because the whole club was so deep in crypto and no one knew anything about Bitcoin, right? And it was interesting to me though, because by the end of the night, they were all extremely interested. I think the biggest perhaps problem was just a lack of awareness of what's possible today. And so the two big ideas that I left people with that I think are really important are one, and I say this by the way, so I run a fund called HiveMind Ventures, hivemind.vc, and we focus on scaling Bitcoin. Our thesis is Bitcoin is sort of the protocol for value, Lightning Network and things adjacent to it, the protocol for payments, and now Nostr, the protocol for identity and data. And so what I tried to convey to these guys is at my last fund, we were investing in all the cryptocurrency things. The ideas were super cool. Like, I loved a lot of this stuff. I love decentralized marketplace for compute, for storage, for bandwidth, all these things we're going to talk a lot more about. The problem is, people, as we talked about on our show today, didn't acknowledge reality where it was. It wasn't ready to scale there. And so because people wanted to build things, and not from a place of poor intentions, but they said, you know what, we're ready, we're going to do it on our own networks, like Ethereum or Solana, whatever else, without realizing that, if the nodes are not decentralized enough and not enough people are running those, then over time, the networks are going to centralize and ultimately they're going to fail, right? And so the two big ideas that I share with that group that I'll share with all of you are, one, to me, Bitcoin is energy-backed money. When you look back in 100 years, you're going to see Bitcoin as a ledger of kilowatt hours in the same style of what Buckminster Fuller, Tesla, Edison, Ford, all of the great minds of human history have seen coming for centuries. And that is, there's only one currency at the known universe. It's joules, full stop. One day people will recognize Bitcoin as that once it monetizes. But number two, as Steve was saying, a lot has changed with the protocol. If you think about it, who here uses the web, HTTP, or email, SMTP? How many of you guys use the number 2 protocol for the web or the number 2 protocol for email? Oh, no one. That's right, because of course you don't. There's only one protocol. And so
there is no second best.
There is no second best. Laura? That's what I see happening here is there's one sort of HTTP for value that's Bitcoin, and all the cool things we want to do, we're going to scale at higher and higher levels of abstraction. And so to Steve's point, why now? I think it's beautiful and exciting and incredible for me to finally see, after years and years of waiting for Lightning Network to get there. Shout out to people like Lalu who've been making this happen for a very long time. It's been a minute, but we're finally at a point where we can do instant peer-to-peer payments between humans, between agents, embed them quickly in apps. And my hope, as we look at AI as a turning point, and AI is using Bitcoin, which is something I'll talk more about in a little bit, my dream is that maybe one day the Presidio Bitcoin and perhaps even this hackathon here tonight is a turning point where we first saw many of those cool ideas from crypto emerge on the stack that's going to scale, and that's Bitcoin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, well, I'm inspired.
Let's fucking go, baby.
Let's go. Well, I mean, I think part of the purpose of having Presidio Bitcoin is to be a bit of a bridge to the traditional technology development ecosystem and those of us interested in Bitcoin and open source technologies around that. And, everything I've ever seen of technology starts very, very small with just an idea, and it grows from there. And I think, by the time people have heard of something and it's out, it's in USA Today or it's out in the world somewhere that everybody's hearing about, it's already big and it looks a lot different. And so I think a lot of people are pattern matching to what they see in the media as a big company, a big idea, and they assume that's how it starts, but it really doesn't. It starts small. It starts with 1 or 2 people in a room like this who have a great idea and can make it come to life. And so the reason that I'm excited about this moment for Bitcoin and for Presidio Bitcoin and for this hackathon is that I think we have this collection of tools now available in how we can develop things so much faster than we could. A thing that could have taken a year or 2 before, you could now do maybe in an afternoon, maybe by tomorrow night. Literally, like we've come up with examples. We've been talking about kind of offline about that. So I feel like really excited about how much can be accomplished so quickly. And we can build things that depend on a money, but we don't have to create a new money. We already have a great one. So we can just assume that money exists and now build tools that use money in new ways. And those ideas are maybe not popular, maybe they're not venture fundable today, maybe they will be 6 months from now or a year from now. Together and come up with whatever ideas we have, no matter how crazy they are, and we can prototype and we can build things and we can share them with each other. And my hope with the whole session today is that we can find the beautiful nuggets and elevate them and help more people see how great these ideas are that y'all are coming up with, right? And what are the kind of creativity that's going to come out of all the work that you put in and the effort you put in over the next 24 hours or so. So that's what makes me excited about this. That's why I'm here and excited to be part of it.
That's great.
DK is being modest. He is himself now an expert vibe coder. So if you want to be inspired, come see what DK is built.
I need the hat, though. Matt's got the hat.
Yeah, watch out. The hat.
Ringer.
Max, I think you had like a special spiel you wanted to.
I did have a special spiel, and I'll just go ahead and give it now. I mean, so one of the ideas that I wanted to plan out there, I think there's kind of 2 broad categories. I'm sure there's many more you guys will come up with. And by the way, that's the thing I'm most excited about. I think all of us are most excited about is stuff we haven't thought of yet. So my hope also is you're going to blow our minds with stuff that just pushes the edge of what's possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the joy of a hackathon. But there's 2 broad categories that I see right now. One is I build an app, maybe it's vibe coded, maybe it's not, and I integrate Bitcoin Lightning payments. Sick. That's exciting. DK, for example, has his dog to human app, which is pretty crazy. And one can integrate Lightning payments in there. And if you want to run the generation, great. But the other area that I am most excited about, I would even say it's becoming a borderline obsession right now. Is anyone from Anthropic here tonight? Okay, good. I say that's somewhat in jest, but I think we finally have the tools ready now to build what I will call autonomous digital life. And actually, let me rephrase that, to evolve autonomous digital life. How many of you guys heard the talk at Bitcoin 2023 with Drew Bansal, Will AI's Dream of Electric Bitcoin? Phenomenal talk. I was hoping we'd get Drew here tonight. He wasn't able to join. I did just release a podcast with him this morning, so that will be ready for the hackathon. If you guys want inspiration, it's called Ideas from the Edge. Just search Drew Bansal, you'll find it. But Drew inspired my thinking very heavily here. And to DK's point, the beauty of building in layers with protocols is once you have one piece taken care of, like the money, then you can start layering that with brand new protocols and build crazy things that no one thought was possible. So what I see right now is, as you think about the layers that we have today, one, we have Bitcoin as energy-backed money, right? And so if you start thinking about how evolution happened in the digital world, again, it all happened with energy. And the currency there, to make the metaphor a bit more realistic, metabolism, right? And there's a whole interesting rabbit hole on did metabolism actually happen before life, and that's its own series of YouTube videos you can go down. But assume it does for a second. The currency is ATP, right? Then what you need are the metabolic pathways to transfer the ATP. And then once you start doing that, you can have barriers form of the organisms, and then you have parts come together, parts into new holes. This is what some people call holons, and that's the universe all the way up and all the way down, right? I'm oversimplifying things a little bit, but you kind of get the point of what I'm saying. So I think we're finally at a point where we can start evolving autonomous digital life. Now, some people are going to find this horrifying, and it very well may be horrifying, but I also think it's inevitable. So I would rather it be open and in a state that anyone can see and audit than closed and give our overlords over at OpenAI or whatever the chance to build it. So the way I think about this is Bitcoin is that base layer of digital energy-backed currency. It's like digital ATP. The next thing we need are the metabolic pathways. That's the Lightning Network, the ability to, as I think Lalo calls it, send money via money tubes, or I'll call them ATP tubes. Now you can start sending the digital ATP over the network. The next thing you need is what I'll call physical resources delivered digitally. So this is the ability to buy storage, bandwidth, and compute, which are the necessary ingredients for a digital life form to survive, right? Imagine once you can start paying for your own GPUs with Bitcoin via the Lightning Network. Very exciting. And I've learned just today that there are 2 marketplaces, both very small and experimental, now offering GPUs via the Lightning Network. One is Open Agent Compute, which is a relaunch of GPUtopia. I didn't even know it had relaunched. It was like yesterday, I think. So that's exciting. And the second is the Open Inference Grid, which I believe our homie Kevin from Lightspark will talk about more tonight. But the gist is you're soon going to see GPUs offered for Satoshis. Okay, so we need that. Eventually we'll get storage and we'll also get bandwidth. Oh, yeah, sorry. Bitcoin. Steve and DK are getting me on the bandwagon slowly, but the rebrand. So once you can pay for these services with Bitcoin, what then do we need? Well, you need models that are good enough to either by themselves or in groups operate on complex functions. Arguable if we're all the way there, but we're close, at least to prototype things. Okay, so we already have all of those ingredients, at least the prototype phase. The last thing that we're missing is the thing that I've been getting obsessed with, and shout out to Anthony and Marks and Philip, who's here in the room, and Artur, who is not here in the room, but confidential compute. Who here is aware of confidential compute or heard that term, or the trusted execution environment? Okay, so the beauty of this at a very high level is imagine you can have a secure element. You can think of it almost as a computer within a computer. So if you access a server in the cloud like AWS, or in the case of Lexi, they're using Intel's SGX, you can basically prove that the operator of that server has a secret stored within the secure enclave that they can't read. And I know there's going to be some hardcore, people on Nostr. Well, do you really trust AWS? I get it. You have to trust AWS that they're not going to tarnish their whole brand here. But eventually, you could do this in an open marketplace with reputation via Nostr and not have to trust them. So that's where we're headed. But once you can do that, you can then generate keys within the secure enclave and start running processes within the secure enclave. Now, what this means when you start to put all of these pieces together is, as Drew mentioned in that talk, you can start to think about Bitcoin keys or super keys that control child keys as the, I would call them metabolic barriers, the membranes, if you will, between different cells in the organism, or as my fund is called, the hive mind. And so once you start to put all of those pieces together, I know this sounds very sci-fi. I bet you can't guess who was pushing for that category. But what you can start to realize is that you could potentially have an AI that once it's out in the loose is in fact out on the loose. Now again, this could be very bad, could be very scary, but my bias is always more in the open. If there's other AIs to defend you from those AIs, I think that's probably your best shot than we're gonna put it all in one company or one government, which sounds terrifying to me. So when you put all of these pieces together, and shout out to Bob, who I'm not sure if he's announced his company yet, but is working on some very cool things. We were having discussion with Steve actually, and this is when the idea first sparked to me. Who here is familiar with Cashew or eCash mints? So the idea is basically you can have like a private bank, you can insert Bitcoin or really anything, but let's say Bitcoin and get these tokens, IOUs out. It could be dollar denominated, Bitcoin denominated, whatever you want. And the issue is there's all this incredible cypherpunk hacking happening in Cashew, but no one can tell me who's going to run the mints. You know, who's going to take the risk to do this at scale? And then one day as we're sitting there, I was like, well, wait a second. What if we just have AIs run the mints? What if you have literally the ability to create keys within the secure enclave, and you have the ability for that AI to say your mission in life is to run a mint profitably. Also, don't kill us, hopefully. And by the way, back yourself up as you build by buying your own GPUs with Bitcoin over the Lightning Network. So I tell you all this. These ideas are still getting sort of fleshed out. And if you want to learn more, listen to the pod with Drew. We dive a lot more into this. But I say that only to inspire you guys to think big. Obviously, you only have one day here to hack. And like, I love traditional apps with payments as well. Like, I don't want to discourage anyone from doing that. But I would just encourage you to think that we may have all of the building blocks we need to not only build a cool company, but literally to build the next stage of evolution, the next form of life. And that's pretty fucking cool.
So who wants to join Max's team? He's leading a vibe coding team.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, and I did want to give a shout out since he's not here. Artur from Noster.band, some of you guys may know. He produced a wallet. I think it's Zap.land. I already forgot the name. This is embarrassing. Sorry, Artur. But if you go to his GitHub, Noster.band, he has some really cool NWC enclave utils. You're also going to hear later tonight from Lexi. I don't know where Philip is, but Philip has a really dope demo I just saw this afternoon where they have Lightning wallets running within secure enclaves. And then I'm putting these guys on the spot, but Anthony and Marks, who are here competing, have Open Secret, which also, it's not focused on Lightning wallets, but focused on secure enclaves in general. So if you want to go deep down the rabbit hole, look up Noster.band or talk to these two guys tonight.
I think in the Discord channel, all three of those services have been posted as well with more details. And I think we're going to learn more about these details coming up.
There's lots of learning coming up. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause.
Yeah, thank you. If you like, well, Alex Lee, make your way up while he's making his way up. If you like what they said, they have a podcast, the Presidio Bitcoin Jam. You can tune in. I think it's Fridays at noon. If you don't like what they said, you can still tune in and just let them know. Either way, it's all good. Two other quick things. Can we, Jack, right? Yes. Can you pull down the thing so the sun's not shining in? There should be on the right. Yeah, perfect. The other thing, quick photo policy. I don't know what everyone's like feelings are on getting photos and being in them, so to be safe until we either, if you're taking a photo and somebody else is in it, either ask them kind of before you take the photo if they mind. Otherwise, you're safe to take photos up here because this is live streamed anyway, so it's out there. And with that, we're gonna start now introducing some of our partners and people helping out tonight. So Alex Lee, kick us off.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex Lee from the Human Rights Foundation. We're a nonprofit that promotes human rights with a focus on authoritarian regimes. Now you may be asking yourself, if you don't know about our work or Href or Alex Gladstein, why is Href here, right? Like, what does Bitcoin or AI have to do with human rights? And we are really excited to support this hackathon and support Presidio Bitcoin because Bitcoin is freedom money, right? It's the only decentralized money that we have. It's not controlled by some dictator or some central bank or some group of old people sitting around at a table deciding how much more money to print and thinking of new ways to control us. And at the Human Rights Foundation, we have a quarterly grant program called the Bitcoin Development Fund, where we support people like you, developers working on free and open source software, because we want to make Bitcoin a better tool for human rights activists. We want human rights activists and dissidents around the world to have the best tools in their hands in their struggle for human freedom. So I'm really excited to see what you guys will be building in the next few days, not the next few days, in the next day. And yeah, if you want to learn more about the Human Rights Foundation, our grant program, feel free to say hi to me. I'll be here today and tomorrow. We have a website, hrf.org/devfund, if you want to learn more about our quarterly grant program. And we just launched a AI for individual rights program last week, where we'll be trying to use AI as a tool for human freedom and not as a tool for human oppression. So if you want to learn more about that, feel free to talk with me or go to href.org/AI. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up we have Damien. Damien, tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Hey everyone, my name is Damien. I'm going to be giving a workshop tonight on eCash, specifically talking about Cashew. It'll be the last workshop over there around 8:45. I'm also going to be a mentor here, so if anyone needs help with Bitcoin, Lightning, Nostr, eCash stuff, happy to help. So just a little bit about me, real quick, maybe some inspiration for those of you new to Bitcoin development. My journey as a Bitcoin developer started just kind of with an inspiration to contribute to Bitcoin. I didn't really know what that meant, but I saw Bitcoin as a savings technology, a way that I could be my own bank and opt out of the fiat rat race. So I did a web development bootcamp that just kind of got me started writing code, and then since then I've been coming to events like this and trying to learn from the best in the space. And since then I've been working on a Cashew wallet. So that's what I'm going to be sharing in my workshop. And Cashew is a protocol built on top of Bitcoin that has its trade-offs, but I think drastically improves payments on Bitcoin. It's also fun and filled with memes and really easy to get started with. Just like a couple dozen lines of code and you can start sending and receiving Bitcoin. So if you want to learn more about that, come to my workshop. I also know a good bit about Nostr. So I think that has a lot of interesting use cases when applied to AI. So happy to help if you need it. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm D++. I am a software engineer, Bitcoin educator, and most importantly, a Lightning evangelist. So come find me. I'm going to be giving each of you 20 USD in Lightning. Right now it's around 20K sats on the Lightning Ferry. So please do have a Lightning wallet ready. If you don't already have one, I would recommend using Cash App or Strike or Phoenix is a good one. All right, but who wants even more Bitcoin than that? Even more Bitcoin than 20K sats. 20K sats to start, and then you can compete in my Lightning game to get even more sats. So as you can see, I've created a fork of Mario Kart that pays you sats in real time to your Lightning address, and you can earn about 5K sats max per course, but you can play more than once. So who wants to come play Mario Kart and get sats? It's also a demonstration of the capabilities of the Lightning Network, and as you can see here in the console, it works, and it works fast. So if you need help adding Lightning to your application, come find me. I'm also going to be mentoring, helping you guys get unstuck if you hit any roadblocks. Lastly, we're going to be using my Lightning voting interface for the crowd favorite category tomorrow, which is to say the winner will be determined over the Lightning Network itself. So you can actually vote using these Lightning addresses for each team. The votes will be counted by number of votes. However, the sats are going to each team, meaning the sats are going to be distributed and the teams get to keep them, right? So this is going to be really incredible because it's going to be on the live stream tomorrow, meaning everybody watching at home can vote for their favorite team over the Lightning Network. I think it's pretty cool. So come find me. So come find me if you want to learn more about Lightning or get free sats or play Mario Kart.
Thank you, Dee. So now we're going to move into the tech talk portion, which you could also think of as perhaps lightning talks. Pun intended. So Lightspark is the first one coming up, and then I just want to also go down the list just so that you know if you are giving a tech talk kind of where you're going to rank as a reminder. We're going Lightspark, Block, Fusats, Alby, Lexi. So with that, Lightspark come up, and then you should, ooh, we got to do a quick computer switch. Oh no, we got the slides. What happened to your computer? Trying to sabotage the event. This is live.
No, you're using this one.
Yeah, the slides are here. So that's also a great reminder. I do think if you are bringing up, obviously, if you're going to be using your computer for your slides, bring them up, please, and then we'll plug it in.
And then it's just upside down.
The first one is Spark. Spark is a new Bitcoin L2. It aims to overcome a lot of the challenges you see on L1 with extremely high fees, extremely long block times, and it also aims to overcome a lot of the challenges with Lightning, namely liquidity management, opening channels, figuring out who to connect to, all of those challenges. With the Spark Wallet SDK, you can spin up a new Bitcoin wallet. This is a self-custody wallet, so only you have control over the funds in milliseconds. And once you have that, you can send funds to other Spark addresses instantly for free. But that's just a starting point. You can also connect with any Lightning node. You can send and receive to any Lightning node at extremely low cost, using the same liquidity management, the same routing that Coinbase and other Lightning providers use. On top of all of that, we also support stablecoins. This might not be the best audience for that, but I think we can all agree not having tokens wasting block space is a good thing. To get started with the Spark SDK, it's really straightforward. Here, in less than 25 lines of code, we demonstrate pretty much all the core functionality you need to build a Lightning-enabled piece of software. We initialize the wallet. In this case, we're actually recovering it from a mnemonic. We check our balance. This is your Bitcoin balance, but you can also check token balances. We withdraw some money to L1, and then we pay a Lightning invoice. There's a lot more you can do with the Spark SDK. We've sent out the docs, and you'll also find it in your email, but the entire team's here, so feel free to come over if you need any help. The second tool that we're super excited to introduce is the inference grid. Now, this is an experimental project. It's definitely very much in the early stages, but the ambition here is really to build a decentralized network for AI inference. And here's what that means. We believe that any provider, whether it's a monolith like OpenAI or Anthropic, or a hobbyist who's fine-tuning an open source model in their basement, should be able to serve LLMs and monetize it using Lightning micropayments. But today we're not going to focus on the producers, we're going to focus on the developers, which is all of you. With the inference grid, you can connect to top-tier LLMs, proprietary or open source. And it's built on Spark and Lightning. So you don't need an account, you don't need a balance, you don't need a credit card. All you need to do is to connect your Lightning wallet, whether that's Spark, Nostr Wallet Connect, or something else. We believe that this is the best way to build Bitcoin-native AI apps and workflows. To get started with the inference grid, once again, less than 25 lines of code. In this example, we create a client, we submit an inference request, and we get a Lightning invoice back. For those of you familiar with L402 or X402, it's a very similar design, except asynchronous in order to better support real-time streaming use cases. So those are the tools that we've brought with us that we'd love for all of you to play with. The Spark docs and inference docs are both available in Discord. And just for fun, we've also vibe coded ourselves a chat demo, which shows you how to use Spark, how to combine it with inference grid in order to just chat. We'll be running a workshop later where we'll demonstrate the more advanced features of Spark, whether that's Spark transfers, whether that's creating invoices and all that good stuff, as well as the more advanced inference grid features, such as building agent workflows with tool use, vision, stuff like that. And finally, don't forget to check your email. Around 10 a.m. today, you should have received an invite code. When you click that, it spins up a Spark wallet right there in your browser, like locally, and sends you $25 to play with. Cool? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Block. Let's get a round of applause. Oh, perfect. And you want this?
Yeah. All right. My name is Richard Moot, and I'm here from Block. I work as a tech lead, and I'm here to talk about Codename Goose. Codename Goose is an open source local AI agent that runs on your machine that can basically code for you and do many, many other tasks, and operates as an MCP client, so it's extensible and is able to basically help you win the hackathon. How many of you already use AI for coding? Yeah, I figured that was probably right. So getting started with Goose, Goose can run both in a CLI and a desktop app. Here you can see how easy you can actually run through. It's going through a really quick configuration. You can choose any LLM provider that you want, and then you can just enable extensions. Basically, you're just connecting any MCP server. How many of you are already familiar with MCP as a protocol? How many of you actually used an MCP server? Okay, a lot less. Well, thankfully, if you want to learn how to connect an MCP server or build an MCP server, come talk to me at the workshop later, and I'm happy to walk you through it. We also have the desktop app, and so this actually basically runs with the same kind of config as your CLI app, but it has a nice rich UI, so it makes it a little bit easier to use. I know some of us just want to live on our terminal. I actually found that I start using the Goose desktop app more and more, particularly for when I want to do things that are going to be like more visual. If I'm like building a website, I tend to want to like get out of my terminal because I'm doing other things over there. Like I said, you can extend Goose's capabilities. It's not limited just to coding. So like it can use developer tools, control your computer. It also has memory functionality like you would see with ChatGPT. It's all going to be like running locally on your machine, so you're not having to worry about where it's storing your memory. And some quick tips on using Goose. I think these are actually just generally good tips for when you're using AI while coding, is you want to keep your sessions short to maintain the context. So once you get past a task, or you run into a dead end, or your vibe coding is just off, start a new session. Always commit your code changes early and often. I also say that when you're using Goose and you're activating extensions, I generally recommend only have the extensions on that you need for the particular thing that you're trying to do. Otherwise, it tends to go a little bit haywire. And we also have some starter templates for common tasks. You could always check those out in our docs. And it will help you build your Bitcoin apps faster. There's already several MCP servers out there for Bitcoin, and I would recommend connecting them. I will actually show one of the MCP servers that I've already connected to my Goose client at the workshop later, so please come and check that out. And you can always like use this QR code. If you're not familiar with Pulse MCP, that'll take you right over to Pulse MCP, where you can actually go see all the existing published Bitcoin-related MCP servers. And I would also recommend that you go and build your own MCP server if you're interested in it. I want to thank Stephen Geller, who actually pulled together this whole playbook. There will be a QR code later, so don't feel like you have to like memorize that URL. But there's a whole bunch of playbooks in there for various things that you could actually run Goose through to help you get started, get ideas, move along. And yeah, and I also want to plug that you can get free Goose credits. We have a QR code on the very end over there. Please make sure to go through it. It's kind of self-explanatory when you run through there. You just need to provide an email address, and then it will give you an Open Router API key and $20 worth of credits, which should get you, I think one of my teammates is estimating about anywhere from like 8 to 12 hours of just kind of running through stuff. So it should be a reasonable kind of boost to getting you through things. Also, want to plug the Hackathon Playbook by Stephen Geller. Make sure to go check that out. It's a really good collection of resources. And also, above all, the Goose documentation. And that's it. I think I managed it 30 seconds to spare. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I will also make sure that everyone gets that link for the Goose API credits, so you don't have to worry about doing that right now. And then now let's have Jordy. Jordy, I don't know you too well. I imagine you're a humble person. I know you recently won a hackathon, so I'll brag for you.
Yeah.
Jordy recently won the PayPal hackathon.
PayPal hackathon, couple of AGI houses. I live out of winning hackathons, so you can make your career out of this.
So the reason I say that is to one, brag for him, but two, part of doing well in a hackathon is pacing yourself and making sure you have a product at the end. So he's a great mentor for that, in addition to all the things he's going to talk about now. So Jordy, take it.
Thank you very much. Excellent. So welcome to my sales pitch Nah, it's going to be really, really quick. So we are FuseSets. We do payment infrastructure for AI agents. Whenever an AI agent needs to pay, we want to make that happen. They are hitting currently a legacy wall. So every time there are more and more agents out there, if you go to Cloudflare and you see the percentage of bots that are crawling the web are higher than ever. And people don't know what to do with them. They just like block them because it's like, well, they are consuming our resources and they don't leave any money. We don't think that you want to block them because actually they are good bots. You just want to make money out of them, like we are in the US. So this is basically the problems that they hit. No? Like they are using a browser. For people, like the internet is the browser. When you wanted to reach people, you just create something like a web app, a server, and then you just say, send the HTML there. And even if you have an API, someone was on the other side integrating that API. So, you know, like they're consuming the documentation and everything from the browser. Bots, seems that it's hard for them to click this button here. Actually, they are starting to lie, so they're able to actually like click it, but then people like Stripe are saying like fraud going out, so you know like they are trying to block it quite a lot. They are different because most of them don't have access to a browser, so they are actually like hitting the API directly. Then there is a lot of client fragmentation. Until now, if someone consumes your, like you put a server out there, you know that they are consuming it from your website or from your app, like the one that you created for it, or some engineer made a specific integration for that. Now you don't know, like there may be things like Siri that they don't even have a screen. Like the person it's driving, so what do you send there? You're gonna send like HTML or anything, you know, like the integration has to happen at runtime and on the fly, and you need to provide them the minimum thing for you to give them the money. Remember here, like eyes on the price. So in our company, what we have is a really simple API set where whenever you need to buy something, you just say like, this is the URL, this is the headers that you have to use, this is the cookies, go and purchase it from me. I don't care if you create a virtual credit card, if you use something like Bitcoin or whatever, just make it happen. However, what is interesting is that that's the API for today. But we think that in the future, what we need is something like L402, that it's this idea of a payment flow or HTTP. I don't want to take any credit because actually like the creator is here, it's programming right now, maybe it's doing like a better version of it. But it's this idea that he saw it like 5 years ago, so before AI. And actually, I guess that was challenging because before AI, like it was a cool idea, but who's going to use this? Now it's the right moment to say like, well, yeah, like machines are the ones that are going to use this. This is basically the new protocol. Like it works more on the Lightning Network, so it's for everything. Supports custodial and non-custodial. So if you want to integrate them in your apps, it's really, really easy, and you don't have to use FuseSets or anything like that. The good thing is that if you use an open source protocol, my clients can give you money. So you don't have to become my client, but everyone that joins the network is able to send money to you. I brought a list of things that people may want to do, things like monetizing or MCP. Like they were saying, like, okay, do you want to do an MCP server? What is the money? Okay, so with this, like actually the client can pay you. There is a lot of things about inference, like everything that Max said about like a machine that needs to provide for themselves. This is a good idea. There are people already doing things with podcasts. If you're interested in things like that, anything that it's value to value, anything that it's Noster, like distributing media, like can use this kind of stuff. And if you want to do anything that it's about libraries and spec or infrastructure, like I can also help there. On the Lightning Network, I cannot help much, but I know who can help. So if you ask me questions, I know how to redirect you to the right person. L402, anything that it's like architecture in general. I don't know if it's like well spelled, but anything that you are building, like I may be able to help you there. And I have like some resources later, like we're going to do a workshop here. So you're going to be able to see code and actually like integrate it. Perfect, so that's all from my side. Thank you.
And with that, Moritz from Albi.
Last thing, many people are adding stars in the GitHub for the repository of L402, and people actually say that they feel healthier, stronger, they wake up better in the morning, so give it a try. Sorry. Thanks.
Wonderful. Cool. Yeah. Welcome from my side. I'm Moritz. I'm one of the founders of Albi. Super happy to be here. I just arrived yesterday, and really excited what you will come up with. At Albi, yeah, we are around since 2021, actually, so 4 years already, building on Lightning for consumers and developers, making sure that you all have the best tools when it comes to Bitcoin Lightning payments, especially in apps, but also now also in real world. Two things that is special about Albi: we build a lot of products, or actually all of our products are open source, and for us interoperability is key. Because to really leverage the strength of an open payment network like Bitcoin, I think we need to make sure that all our tools are interoperable. So for consumers, what do we have? We have Albi Hub, self-custodial Lightning wallet with superpowers, if you know that, easily connect to any app out there, such as the Albi extension, basically the bridge or the gateway when it comes to payments in the browser, and also Albi Go, which is a mobile app. For developers, there are a bunch of SDKs that you can use to power your app with Bitcoin payments. There is Bitcoin Connect, for example, if you want to accept payments in your web app. And there is a NWC relay. But I actually do not want to talk too much about our products and tools that we have, but more like give you some idea what other people have already done with these tools. And one of that is Allenfly, for example. It's an app that lets you prototype other Lightning apps with just a single prompt, using things like Bitcoin Connect in the background, basically. So basically, yeah, vibe coding specialized on Bitcoin payments, such as Bitcoin coin flip app, where you can win sats again without any line of code. We built a rock paper scissors game today, for example, in just 3 minutes, and there is also a multiplayer drawing game that you can use and play around a little bit with that. So really, everybody can use, is a Bitcoin developer, and that's really the idea of Albi. We want to make it so seamless for you. But if you have a bit more time, so there was another hackathon earlier this year. What they've done, building on Nostr Wallet Connect, for example, they are allowing now to pay Pix users in Brazil in reais with Bitcoin payments by connecting their Lightning wallet to the app that they've built, and in the background they send out reais to users. So really, you can now pay at almost every shop in Brazil with Lightning payments, and the guys, they just build it at a hackathon. So that's maybe like a measure what you can come up with. What I personally found extremely interesting is this example here, because that greatly shows what interoperability means, what enables, what Bitcoin does today for us. There is Pod 2 that allows you to sell audiobooks in their own currency that they decide, and there is TrueFans that allows you to buy audiobooks in their own currency. Settlement works in Bitcoin, and these are apps that are actually live, right? And I think that's something where we probably also in the future will see a lot more of these types of use cases and this type of interoperability, which you cannot when you build on closed payment networks, because then you have to agree on the same app. They do not, right? They send payments across borders between apps. Both use Albi Hub as their wallet, but it doesn't matter. It could just use any wallet that speaks Lightning. I think that's a great example here. Also built on L42 actually. And then there's Amethyst and Damos, great example of SAPs. If you want to allow users to send payments back and forth between each other, it's a great example. And also incorporates tools from Albi. So you want to build on with our tools, for example, if you want to make sure that you're looking to build on like a rather stable SDK and API that also supports upcoming new payment networks like Spark and Arc, because they will also be part of Albi in the future. If you want to receive payments from users, want to have it extremely quickly done with Bitcoin Connect, then that's something that you want to look at. Or if you just want to let users pay, send payments to each other in your app, then that's one way where we can definitely help without you taking custody, without any regulatory burden, just orchestrating payments. So yeah, I think that's really the time to build your own Bitcoin app. Later on, I give you a bit more insights into our code basis if you want, but you can also already look that up right now and you find some cheat sheets.
Thank you. Bringing it up for our last tech talk before we move into the workshop section. Let's give it up for Philip. No. Native HDMI on that? Does what? Native HDMI on that computer. Try that. Oh, I got you. Here it is.
All right. Yeah, so great to see everyone. We're Lexi Wallet. My name is Philip. Basically, we are providing a self-custody Bitcoin and Lightning wallet. I want to thank Max for introducing TEs and secure elements, so I don't have to explain as much. But basically, our key shtick is that we run your Lightning node inside a secure element in the cloud. So this gives us a bunch of really great benefits. We can send and receive payments 24/7. It's super painless. If your phone is offline, no problem. You can still receive payments. If you lose your phone, you can restore from backup easily, and it's not like a static channel backup that sometimes breaks. But yeah, basically, because your keys are always inside a secure element, like it's self-custodial, we can't spend your money, we can't like steal your funds. And we have a LSP, so all the liquidity is fully managed. It's like super painless, don't have to think about it. And today, you know, you guys are at a hackathon, so you're looking to build something. We're actually launching our little sidecar SDK that we cooked up. This lets you basically send the most bog standard like JSON HTTP request to, you know, create invoice, pay invoice, look at payments. It's super painless, super easy. In fact, it's so easy we can just like one-shot a quick demo using Claude 3.7 Sonnet, using Goose. Thank you, Block. So yeah, I'm not going to try to anger the live demo gods here, so I got a little video. But let's see. Boom. We got our little Lexi vibe. We're going to build a quick tip page. See if we can skip forward here. Yes, we got a .env. We got our credentials. Very cool. You basically open Goose, paste in a prompt, and you tell Claude, take the wheel. And he built something. He built a great little tip page. You can basically look at our API here. We're just sending like JSON requests. It's writing some files. It's doing some Python. It's doing whatever. We're just vibing here, so we don't really care. We say okay and give it to me. Boom, boom, boom. All right, chmod. Oh, great. That's great. Awesome. Oh, he even wrote a README for me. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna take a quick look. What the hell did you write? It looks fine. Great. Let's send it. Boom, boom. Okay, we got a little Python web service. Awesome. Oh, I just got this. Oh, here we go. Got this beautiful, beautiful Claude generated tip page. Ooh, scan that QR code. Oh yeah. Boom. Pay that. All right. And let's see if this goes. Boom. All right, look at that. Look at that confetti. Okay, So that's something you can do with the Lexi SDK. We should have sent everyone an email with a sign-up code. If you have any trouble, come see me. I'm going to be here all night, ready to push to prod, fix your bugs, fix my bugs. Yeah, come to my workshop if you want to get set up super fast. All right, thank you.
Oh, nice. No password needed. So we're now going to move into the workshop portion. A few things before we do that. The biggest thing is let's just give another round of applause for our sponsors and partners. I know that some people here came from across oceans, land, all that stuff to be here, far travels. Our sponsors and partners did as well. So this literally would not be possible without them. They're also building some of the coolest stuff in the Bitcoin space. So this is a very special environment that we're in right now. So with that said, let's learn more about what our sponsors and partners are working on. We had our designer build this graphic here. That's a joke. What you see here, everyone right here is mostly in, I think you're actually all in the Redwood stage. And then we also have our Golden Gate stage, which is on the other side of, as you can see, there's these like sound barriers. So those are right there. We have these two stages. Now from well, we're going to start it essentially in a few moments. Over here, we're going to have Lightspark. These are 20 to 30-minute workshops, up to the sponsors and partners, however long they want to run it. The idea here is you go, learn more about their tech, get some hands-on experience, ask your questions, and then can use that information to either get more educated or use that to go build some stuff. So here we're going to have Lightspark. On the other side, we're going to have Alby. Then after that 30-minute time frame, we're going to have Block over here and Lexi over there. And then after another 30 minutes, we're going to have Fusats over here, and Damien, who you saw earlier, is going to be on the other side. So I'll leave this up for now. Let's take maybe 5 minutes to just figure out like what you can think about it, what are you interested in, 5-10 minutes, and then we're going to start sponsors, partners. If you have any questions, come find us. Get ready to do the workshops. Thank you, everybody.